I'm Lieutenant David Bacareza with the San Antonio Police Department. This critical incident video release is intended to provide you with information as the department currently understands it about an officer-involved shooting that occurred on December 3rd, 2024 at the 800 block of East Rector Drive. I will walk you through the video relevant to the facts of this incident as we know them so far. Content of this video may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Just after 3 p.m., an SAPD officer in a marked patrol vehicle contacted a male and informed him that he was being detained for crossing the street without using the crosswalk.
1019 for AP vehicle. We're going to be at the right side of the parking lot.
I'll go over. What's up, sir? I'll go over to the front of my car. I'm not doing all that, man. What's going on? Am I under arrest? You're detained right now. Walk over there. For what? We're crossing the street without a crosswalk. Go walk over there.
The male apologized but refused to follow the officer's repeated instructions to approach the officer. He then dropped one of his backpacks in front of the officer and ran across the street into a nearby parking garage.
My arm, man. I swear.
Stop.
I'm sorry.
Dude, I ain't looking for an apology.
I'm sorry. I fucking do know, but I'm sorry, man.
Take off. Sorry. Lopez is running.
While running toward the garage, the male dropped his second backpack and removed his jacket. The officer chased the male into the garage and announced on the radio that he had one running. The officer yelled at the male to stop, but he ignored the commands and continued running between cars in the parking garage until the officer lost sight of him. A second officer on an unrelated incident at the intersection of Loop 410 and Jones Maltsberger heard the officer announce over the radio that he had one running near his location.
All right, I'm on my way.
The officer got into his patrol vehicle and began driving to the parking garage. Upon arrival, he located the suspect running from the parking garage and saw the suspect jump an iron fence. The officer stepped out of his patrol vehicle and yelled commands at the male to get on the ground, but the male ignored the commands and kept walking away. The second officer got back into his patrol vehicle and drove to the 800 block of East Rector Drive, where he located the male hiding in tall grass at the top of a ditch. The officer got out of his patrol vehicle and ran toward the ditch where the individual was hiding.
Get on Rector, going towards the ditch.
The officer then pulled out his taser and issued commands for the male to get on the ground, but the male continued to ignore police commands. As the officer continued to issue commands, he observed the suspect holding a gun, posing a threat to officers. The officer drew his gun and fired several rounds at the suspect, who had begun running in the drainage ditch. The officer also advised the other officers on scene that the suspect had a gun.
He has a fucking gun!
As the officer crossed East Rector and approached the railing, he saw the suspect in the drainage ditch raise his gun. Another officer on scene was yelling at the suspect to drop his gun. The officer then fired several rounds, striking the suspect in the chest. Here's the suspect running with a gun in his hand toward several businesses. This is the gun recovered from the suspect at the scene. Officers provided life-saving measures to the suspect at the scene prior to EMS arrival. Through the course of the investigation, it was determined the suspect, while in the ditch, shot himself in the head. The suspect, identified as 33-year-old Jeffrey Shop, was pronounced deceased at the scene by EMS. Investigations into deadly force are comprehensive and can take over a year. A reminder, this is our current understanding of the situation and could change as investigators gather more information. The San Antonio Police Department does not make any determinations as to whether the procedures were followed until all facts are known. All officer-involved shootings are forwarded to the Bexar County District Attorney's Office for review. As of this publication, the investigation remains ongoing.